Hey, my two friends, welcome back. Today is a very exciting day. GPT-5 from OpenAI has released earlier today. Since ChatGPT came out a few years ago, it has changed many people's way of working and, in some extent, changed many people's lifestyle. And GPT-5 is so highly anticipated and hyped. A lot of people are waiting for the new features, the improvement, and the step closer to the super intelligent model, large language model. I'm in this industry and I'm also very excited and looking forward to this model. And particularly, I want to check out the coding capability of GPT-5 just to do some more tests from my personal projects. I know there are benchmarks and there are like synthetic data for the evaluations. And also, there were a few cool demos in the release conference. But those demos, to be fair, for coding purposes, they are still not in the scale of like a real work project scale. And this side project of mine is to build a online poker game platform that you can play Texas Hold'em with your friends over the weekend or on Friday night. So I've been always wanted to have a like online poker game that's free, that's designated for me and my friends to play online poker. And I tried since the early like GPT models or Claude 3.5 came out, but they were just not able to handle the scale of this project that is a multiplayer communicating over the WebSocket and a lot of UI, a lot of like management, including user management, room management, game sessions, and all that. It's just the amount of project and management and the feature details even at this scale. I know a lot of our like real work projects has much bigger scope than the online poker platform my set project is. So even for this, the cloud models and older GPT models wasn't able to easily handle that for me. But since Cloud 4 came out and GitHub Copilot Visual Studio Code agent mode came out, I come up with a new way of like approaching this project is to write a few of the basic requirement and attached the references of the game rules about a little more background about Texas Hold'em and let the model come up with a design spec. So what you're seeing here is the design spec that Cloud 4 came up with for me to implement this game. And with the design spec, I asked the model to come up with a dev spec that has more technical details. And with the design spec and dev spec, I ask it to come up with a multi-week, step-by-step, very detailed task list, including like bigger, major milestones and detailed tasks. Use this task list to track the progress of this online poker game platform progress. And so far, I've been making pretty good progress in this way. Of course, on one side, it's the cloud that is way more powerful than the previous models in terms of coding. And also the models are more and more agentic. They're like managing the multiple steps project much better. And they're able to leverage tools to check the console output, to run the search tool, run Python scripts, and do a lot of other things that make the project closer to a like a real project and product that you can release on the web or even eventually publish to Apple Store or Android Store and make the game profitable. However, even I'm getting closer and closer with Cloud 4, it still reached the point for some of the bugs, especially for the WebSocket session management and a few specific tasks that Cloud 4 was really struggling to fix those issues for me. So here I have a few. One is that I really want to make the UI mobile friendly. I want it to be able to display and functional in the iPhone standard, like iPhone screen. And also maybe that's because I wasn't very specific in my design spec at the very beginning. The game starts, the players have to join the game room before the game starts. So for this poker game, if the game room is in progress, any players cannot join the game room to play, or if they drop out of the room, they cannot rejoin. This is how Cloud 4 implemented the game from the beginning. Again, because I wasn't very clear in my design spec, I asked Cloud 4 to try to fix this issue by adding a player as an observer during the game. And after a hand, the observer can be promoted to a player and join the game if there is an empty spot in the table. But Cloud 4 is really struggling with this requirement, and maybe because the data structure and the socket message, the way it sent messages, that has some it requires some like very big changes to support this feature. So this is something it cannot handle. And the third one is a WebSocket communication. In the games have very big syncing problems. You always see like different game status or different players, different just in general different game status in two players user interface. So those are the three things I tested on GPT-5. Very impressively, the first and the third, which I have done asking GPT-5 to fix those problems for me, actually is performing really, really good. So now my games for different players has a really good synchronization, and in most of the cases, the rooms display the same information when user join or has left the game, and when in the gameplay they're perfectly in sync. And as you can see, this is now a very playable game. Of course, there are bugs here, not showing the kind of the cards correctly, but in most of the cases, it's now perfectly in sync. Let's see if I left the room, will that be refreshed on this one? Yeah, you see that it's refreshed on this one. And what about I join this room? Let's just try it on the fly. These are the features, or these are the things. Okay, no matching document. Okay, there are still some problem. Oh, okay, see, it actually comes back to the game room, and yeah, even though there's some like messages seems to be wrong, but the games are going. The games are going, actually going pretty good. Let's see. It goes to the showdown and it shows the winning hand. Of course, this part, Cloud 4 has done a lot of jobs, but it was never this stable that I can play a game, no problem. And the status is never so in sync. So, all right, here is still some problems showing that the user has left. It still shows. But in general, I think it fixed many of the problem before with Cloud 4. And another improvement is that you can see these UI buttons, these the raise button, and it has these options and it has these buttons. Previously, Cloud 4 is really struggling to provide a like mobile friendly, properly sized buttons. I'll let you know if GPT-5 can fix the player joining during the game, that feature requirement. But even for the evidence I've so far collected and my short experience, a few hours experience playing with the GPT-5, it's a huge step forward compared to its previous models like the GPT-4 4.1. That model was really struggling coding, even a simple task, it would mess up with the file. It was not even remotely close to Cloud 4, not to mention GPT-5. So far, it's pretty promising. Its behavior is more agentic, meaning it plans the task, it communicates to you what it's doing. It has a good plan to for a task, even for a relatively big feature so far for GPT-5. Again, I've just started to test it. I'll share out more information, not just about GPT-5 coding, but there's going to be more AI stuff sharing out. So lastly, I want to say we're living in an incredible age. We almost have no choice but to embrace AI, especially for people like me, like in this industry. I think one opportunity for us is that now intelligence is incredibly cheap, never been so cheap. So the tokens generated by large language model is kind of a token of intelligence, right? And you can spend so little money for that big amount of intelligence, the tokens. It's much cheaper than labors or many materials now, which is incredible, which is crazy, I would say. So I think there are still many people in the world, they're not aware of AI, or they don't believe in AI. Even many of my friends in this industry, they don't believe AI is capable, or they have trust issues with AI. I'll say 99.9% of people in the world right now at this moment, even though GPT-5 has come out, they're not aware of the impact of AI. So these are our chance now to leverage the cheap intelligence to do things, to have some ideas, just to take the advantage of the short period of time to monetize our ideas and to monetize with the cheap intelligence. So I'm really looking forward to have you in this channel, and we can be together to ride this AI journey to try to monetize that. I have some ideas and I'll post more videos in this channel. So the main goal is to take advantage of the cheap intelligence. For now, I guess there will be a short window, like maybe 1 or 2 years, or a little bit longer or shorter, that with the recognition of what we're in, we'll try to monetize that and take some benefits from that. All right, everyone, thanks for visiting this channel. If you like the content, please consider to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.